Welcome to Do the Top Podcast. This is your real estate podcast. We're here to teach regular people how to invest in real estate. I am your host, Ibrahim Ojerinde. My co host is Ahmed Lawal. We are committed to making investing in real estate seamless as much as possible. So, if you are looking to learn and invest in real estate, you have come to the right place. Keep in mind, this is not a get rich quick scheme. We've always talked about this every Friday. You will have to put in the work, and trust me, things will fall in place. We are giving you the practical, the theory, and how you can, literally get to the next level, which is the financial freedom. All you have to do is put in the work, get advice, and reach out to us if you have any question, and we will guide you throughout the process. My co-host Ahmed. Ahmed, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I mean, it's a blessed Friday. As always, we are back. We are back here, guys. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. We choose to do this live because we want this to be interactive. We want to be able to answer your questions live. We want to be able to, you know, run the show live so that you guys have the opportunity to interact with us and ask your questions. So please drop your comments, your concern, drop your, uh, positive review, constructive review. We are open to learn as well. So yeah, let's share, like, and comment. And if you have anybody that is interested in investing in real estate, share this show with them so that they can learn and grow and make informed decision, not just jumping into an unknown. And like we always want to reach more people, and that is why we are asking you guys to please, when you listen to our podcast on all the podcast platform, be it Instagram, you know YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, we are on all these platforms. Leave us a review. The more review we have, it's help the Google SEO to push our podcast up, and more we can reach more people. So without further delay, today it's going to be about homeowner association. We want to discuss, the do's and the don'ts of homeowner associations. So HOA, a lot of us, want to learn more about HOA, how they can directly affect us. And that is why we are here today. So if you are willing to learn more about HOA, you might want to stick glued to this show and watch it to the end, because we are going to be dishing out all the necessary things you need to understand about the HOA, how they can be helpful, and how it can affect you and your neighborhood and even the price of your house. So you might want to stay glued to the end. So Ibrahim,
Yes.
let's go for today. And can you let us know what are the do's, what are the things that you are expected as a member of the community to do when it comes to HOA?
Yeah. Thanks for that question. I mean, it's a very interesting topic today about HOA because what people seem to see, or the assumption out there, is that when your house is in the HOA, you're in a community, you are, you are not maybe getting the right option, or you are kind of stuck in that rules and regulation of the HOA. People tend to oversee, or forget about, overlook the benefit of HOA. So what we are here to discuss today is we're gonna tell you the good side, the do's and the don'ts, and we're gonna also tell you the benefit of HOA, because it's not just about the rules, the regulations. It has benefit, because without those rules and regulations, your property may easily lose its value. Your neighbor can turn bad if you don't have a good HOA in that area. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna apply to all neighborhoods. If there's no HOA, your neighborhood would automatically go bad. That's not the point. The point is that HOA has its own benefit. So, without further ado, let me go to the do's, and my co-host will, you know, um, back me up with wherever if I miss anything. So today I want you to look at the do's. Now, what are the do's that you have to do in a community? Okay, generally, HOA is there to protect that neighborhood, and it's like a
Yep.
mini, like a small organization. Like in fact, you'll be surprised your neighbor might be the vice president or the president of the HOA. So it's really like people in that neighborhood that constitute HOA in most cases. Now, their job is to observe the neighborhood, maintain it, try to make sure that people are not, you know, infringing on other people's right, or people are not treating other people unfairly in the same neighborhood. So HOA is like a police of the neighborhood. So they observe, they regulate, they make sure things are going well in that neighborhood. That way, everybody is living, decently. So those are they okay, how do I say this? So with that kind of setup, they obviously need funding. Okay, so those
Yep.
funding are the money they use to, send letters to people. If there's a if that HOA is doing it, if it's in their rules, they will, plow the snow. If you might be lucky in the HOA where they can cut your grass, like not like not right in front of your yard, but like the walkway. They consider that like a general place where everybody goes and work with for the whole community. They might cut that way you don't have to cut that. If there's any grass that is above the easement and is getting to a no man's land, like it's getting to like a public space like a park or anything like that, the HO will maintain that. So with all that expenses, they need money. So technically, they're gonna be sending you bills every maybe six
Yep.
months or every year. Some people, some HOA do every 3 months. Okay, so depending on whatever HOA the policy is, they will send you bill. Now, the do is you have to pay that bill. If you don't pay that bill, they take it so serious. Like it's very one of the do's that you don't want to mess with. So because that bill is what they use to manage that neighborhood. So they don't joke with that. It's like you
Yep.
not paying your taxes. That's how they look at it. So please pay your HOA bill. HOA bill is different from your mortgage payment. It comes separately from your mortgage. Don't say because you pay your mortgage, your HOA due, well, you don't have to pay that now or you're not going to pay it. No, you have to pay your HOA dues. They are very powerful, even though it's your neighbor is part of them, or maybe you are part of the association. It still doesn't matter. You have to pay that HOA bill. So that's one of the dues that you don't want to joke with. Now, the other one is follow the HOA covenant. Now, when I say covenant, I mean it's very broad because it depends on where you live in. Every HOA has their own policy. They might say, okay, no shed. Okay, no this, no fence, no that, no all those rules. You have to follow it. Another one is you have to take good care of your property. Part of the HOA job is to make sure that everyone is taking good care of his or her property. That way, the neighborhood value does not crash just because someone is, doesn't care about his or a yard, or the person is just misusing the space by parking, very big semi truck, or bringing a trailer into the neighborhood, creating, uh, blocking the road with unnecessary big items, something like that. So HOA job is to make sure everybody can use the road freely, no clutter on the road, things are looking clean and nice, because it actually helps the neighborhood. It helps the value of your property, your neighbor's property, and the entire neighborhood will look nice. Another thing is,
Yeah.
when something damage in your house, especially when it's exterior, like the security light, please make sure you fix it, because all this light that has a photo cell, like in the morning it goes off, at night it comes on. Those kind of light is serious. HOA don't joke with that. They like to see, because it's a security light. At night it will come on so that the whole neighborhood will be all lit up, like there'll be light everywhere. They want that. So, because if there's light everywhere, it kind of help with safety. That decreases the chances of somebody run into someone else's house, or try to steal anything. Or even if that happens, more light with some security system will help with the investigation, because they'll be able to see who moves here or out here, or who is trying to steal somebody else's property or anything, or vehicles. If the whole neighborhood is dark, imagine you go to a street and everywhere is dark. It's going to be scary, and then probably it's going to affect your property when you're ready to sell, because there are some people that actually go to a neighborhood at night before they make an offer on that property. So imagine they come to your neighborhood and everywhere is dark, and they can, or they come in, the trailers are on the way, and too much clutter, and no, the environment is not looking nice, um, so anyway, HOA, they are there to just make sure things are going well, like everybody are following the rules. They want to make sure the property value stays in a appreciable way, not like it will, depreciate just because someone or many people are just doing whatever they like without following the standard of, the livable standard. Anyway, the other one is that, um, do not erect anything without telling HOA. When I say erect, I'm talking about fence. I'm talking about, or do not dig the ground. Like, let's say you want to do a pool without talking to HOA first. You need to send an email to them, give them a call, let them know that you want to do a pool, let them know that you want to do a fence, because every HOA has a limit of what kind of fence, or you might want to do privacy fence of 12 foot. They might say no, you can only do 6 foot. If it's 6 foot and everyone else is doing 6 foot, you have to do 6 foot. Even if you like 12, you have to do six, because that's the standard in that neighborhood. And unless if you can raise emotion and you get somebody to vote, you're able to get a lot of people behind you, and you guys vote and change the rule. Well, as long as the rule exists in their CCR, you have to follow that rule. um of course, if you want to do pool, they'll give you some other guidelines, like maybe cover your pool, do not let kids go in there, or animals, or all that stuff. You have to follow all those regulations. That way, you stay on top of it, no trouble. They don't come after you. um by the way, they don't just come after people, they come after you when you violate the rules. HOA are not there to just threaten
Yep.
people on.
Absolutely.
You are doing what you have to do. They don't have time for you. They do their stuff, you do your stuff. That's how it is. Okay. So another one I want to mention is, when you know when you see anything that is of safety concern, like you see something that you think is dangerous for the community. You see somebody speed every day, like very recklessly driving every day. It's your right, and it's probably a good idea to call the HOA in, to make sure HOA is aware of that, because you probably, because no one knows, the person might eat two people or one little kid crossing without looking and all that. So HOA is there technically to help that neighborhood. So as long as you follow the CCR, there are restriction and covenant. You pay your bills. You um, do not violate their rules, which is maybe if they say don't park here, don't park there. If they say, do not bring trailer, do not buy shed, do not do that. Okay. Um, this is another big one. If you are buying a house and you have the intention that in the next 2, 5, 7, or 3 years you want to lease the house out officially without any problem, without you looking at your bag every minute, you have to make sure the CCR permit leasing. If there's no leasing, if they forbid leasing or they prohibit leasing in that area, then you shouldn't buy that property. Sometimes it kind of is tricky because you see, oh, leasing from 12 to 24. Leasing is allowed when a tenant is going to live there for 24 months or more, or a 1 year up to at least a 1 year lease upward is allowed. Some CCRE will say that, but some will say no transient leasing. So technically, normal leasing is allowed. What is not allowed is short-term rental, VRBO, Airbnb and all that. That's what that means. Or even mid-term renting. If that person is staying like 3 months, 2 months, 5 days, 20 days, it's not allowed when the CCR says no transient leasing. But if it says no leasing at all, then you cannot lease at all in that area. So you have to watch out, see what the CCR says. If it still works for you, yeah, you buy it. If it doesn't, move forward and look for another one. I mean, move on and look for another property. So that's very, very important. Um, what else I want to add to this? The big one, please pay your bills. They don't joke. They have the power to foreclose your property. I mean, they don't go there straightforward. First of all, they'll send you a couple of letters. Some of them will call you and all that. If you disregard their letters, you don't reply to them and you don't tell them, just, this is my situation. I'll pay so time. You just ignore them and all that. They will send your case to a court, like you know, the local courts, and they will, they'll file a motion to get you to pay, or they'll foreclose your property you know so you have to make sure you pay your bills. They don't joke. Now, I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but HOA is as powerful as the county. Like, they can just take your house if you don't pay your bills. So, Ahmed, I'm not trying to scare them, but please don't scare them. But HOA is really, really, it's really good. If you follow their CCR, they keeps your neighborhood nice, and especially the good ones. And so, Ahmed, what do you have for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I like the points that you make at the end, which is the good ones.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen a neighborhood where they have HOAs, and whenever they have, this heavy snow, that snow still, remain on the floor even after a week or two. You
Yeah.
know,
So there's HOAs. Yeah.
so yeah, so the HOA is not as excellent as
Mhm.
the good ones. But like you mentioned, good HOA are there for the safety of the neighbors and the neighborhood.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
nothing to panic or try to be scared of when you are trying to purchase a property. So
Mhm.
basically, I know you have an experience of trying to lease your property out, and
Sure.
HOA blocked you. Do you
Yeah.
want to share that real quick within 2 3 minutes?
Yeah, yeah. So my first property, that was in 2016. That's when I bought my first property. So 2020, I bought another house and I was trying to lease the first one out. I posted it on Facebook. I did not check the CCR, and I wasn't aware that you cannot officially, like, legally lease your house in that neighborhood. I'm pretty sure people are doing it, but you cannot. The HOA will not support that. If they are aware, they will, um, find you and tell you to get that person out of their house. Anyway, so I posted on Facebook, I posted it on, I think, where again? Realtor.com, something like that. So someone, probably someone, informed the president in that neighborhood, and the president drove to my house and he said, "Are you the owner of this house?" I said, "Yes." "Okay." He said, "We have talked to our lawyer. I'm not sure. Are you aware that you cannot lease a house in this neighborhood?" I said, "No, I'm not aware of that. I mean, I own it and I bought another one, so I want to live." Say, "Yeah, you can sell it, but you cannot lease a house in this neighborhood." He said the lawyer will send me a letter, in a few weeks. Anyway, I had to sell the house because since the president is aware, he knows me that I'm the owner of the house. There's no way I cannot put someone else in that house without them, you know, knowing that, okay, this is a rental, this is a tenant, not the landlord or the owner of the house. So I had to sell it. Um, then I initially I didn't like it. I felt bad and all that. But now when I look at everything, it was a blessing to me. So because I utilized the fund well, and I invested on more properties, and so it ended up to be a good news, or I should say a good um try a good situation. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
The reason why I want you to kind of I try to bring that up is, for people to know that this is real,
yeah,
and it's
it's real.
not just us coming up with all this BS just to let them know, oh, this HOA is this, HOA is that. No, HOA is real, guys. So
It's real.
um I am going to be, giving tonight, explaining some of their rules that you actually cannot violate. If you violate any of this, it's going to the relationship is going to turn sour, which you
Yeah,
don't want. We want to be on good time with HOA, because they are there for us,
yeah,
and we need to be able to support them, so that the neighborhood can actually uh, be progress, and in
yeah,
return, that will increase the value of our house. So it's directly proportional to each other. So you
mhm,
don't want to, if you have a bad relationship with them, then, and or they ignore what they need to do in the neighborhood, that affects the price, that
mhm,
affects the appreciation of the house, of the neighborhood, which
yeah.
directly affects you. We want
Yeah,
our house to appreciate a lot, so that we can get some, you know cash out of it, if we want to refinance or sell it in the future. So the number one thing for me is, make sure you read the CCR. CCR is covenant, condition, and regulation. Covenant, condition, and regulation. So make sure you read the CCR, so that you understand what the rules are for your community. So that way you don't violate any of these rules, and you don't get fined, and all the consequence that comes with violating the rules, you can literally avoid them by just getting yourself, uh getting the knowledge and understanding of what is it that you need to do to support the HOA in the community, and what is it that you need to actually run from. And
Yeah.
actually, this is to protect the community at large, which you are raising your family in. Also, that is one. And the second thing is, even if this is an investment property for you, you still need to understand, because we want to be able to we want to be able to sorry, the CCR is covenant, condition, and restriction. Covenant, condition, and restriction. Sorry, I missed that up. So you want to be able to know what is, not allowed in the community and what is allowed, so that you can put that in a lease agreement that you are giving to your tenants, so that your tenants can be aware. So I have a situation whereby a friend of mine have investment property, and almost every month he always got a letter from HOA stating about one violation or the other.
Yeah.
So that is because the tenant is not aware,
Mhm.
you know, and that becomes the landlord headache, right? Because now
Yeah.
you have to go to the HOA, call them up with your time, trying to explain things and all that, and you still have to fix that thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is easy for everybody, yourself, the tenant, and the HOA, to not violate those rules in the first place.
Mhm.
So that is why, if you are living there, or if this is an investment property, you need to familiarize yourself with the covenant, condition, and restriction of the community, of the neighborhood. You need to know what the neighborhood is actually, uh, what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do. So that is a very big one. That everybody, either you are, this is your permanent residence or this is an investment property, you need to know, just to save the headache for everybody, because it can become escalated, especially even if you don't have a right address with them and they are sending all these violation letter to a wrong address. At some point, they will find you, and when they find you, you still don't respond. Before you know it, you find your house in an auction, going for a sale for a very small fee. So we can always avoid this by knowing what is allowed, so that way we can, you know uh put it in an agreement with anybody that is going to be living in the house, and they are aware of what is allowed and what is not allowed as well. So that is something that, it's a landlord responsibility, and you need to take care of it, so that way, when you can pass it on to the other people. Another common thing is disregarding HOA payments. Just like Ibrahim mentioned earlier, HOA payments is what is used to maintain the community, is what is used to maintain the public area, the common area, the playground, the park, the walkways, cutting grasses, making sure the lights in the community is on at night, so it's safe for everybody to, when you are returning home at 9 p.m., it doesn't look like a graveyard, you know so this is what they are using to take care of things like that. So those payments, you cannot miss them. You cannot just ignore it and say it's okay if I don't pay. It is not. You have to pay, because that is what the covenant says, and you need to pay so that they can continue the upkeep of the community and making it safe for everybody. And they, just like Ibrahim mentioned, they have this autonomy on your property if you don't pay. And if they unleash that power, it is not fun for everybody. They don't want to do it. You don't want them to do it. So it is not fun for everybody. It's just good to, once you know the rules, don't violate it, which is one of the rules is pay on time. And if for any reason there's anything that come up, communication is very, very good. It's very, very key in their situation. Make sure you communicate the situation back to them. That way they know it, and they know that okay, you are aware and you are actively working towards paying it. You don't intentionally miss it, you know. So you communicate and make sure you send them your payment on time, because that is what they use for the upkeep. Another big one is participation in your HOA, your community HOA. People don't really see this as a big deal, but it is actually a big deal. Uh, Honestly, if you are not attending meetings, how can you know when they are making important decisions that directly affect you? You don't know, right? Because you are not at the meeting, and they are not going to be knocking doors and be explaining what happened at the meeting to everybody. So attending the meeting, you can even get on the HOA board, becoming the president or assisting them to do stuff that they need to be get done in the community. So it's a key thing to make sure you participate, because that goes a long way in helping you to voice up on some situation that you don't agree with. It's supposed to be a community collaboration. It's supposed to be everybody's opinion. So you are always welcome. Everybody is welcome. Even a tenant is welcome at HOA community meeting. That is how involved they want it to be for everybody, because they are living there. So you need to participate, because if they end up finalizing the decision before you can change it, just like Ibrahim said, you will have to get a vote of more than like two-thirds of the community to change the rules,
Yeah,
or more than that.
you have to
And
get.
nobody have time for that. But it's easy for everybody if you just participate, and when they are making that decision, you bring up your concern, or you might even have a better way of doing it, that at the end of the day, they will take that and implement it instead of the way they want to do it in the first place. So it is very key, it is important that you participate in the community meeting, and be active. So don't overlook meeting notice. When they send a meeting notice, make sure you acknowledge and show up. Make sure you acknowledge and show up. And if you're not going to be able to make it, find someone that is going to go there and talk to them like, hey, I won't be at the meeting tomorrow. If when you come back, can you let me know what they discuss? Because usually they don't always make decisions in one meeting. They make suggestions, send letters out to people, then you vote. So if you are ignoring the notice, you're probably going to miss the time that they are going to vote on a decision that is critical, that you might not agree to. So don't overlook the meeting. And one big thing that's it's always come up regarding HOA's noise. Don't violate the community noise rule. Make sure you keep everything down,
Mhm,
and don't just turn on the loud music when everybody else is sleeping.
mhm.
You know, just because that is when you are at home. We understand that everybody have different schedule, but respect the norms. A lot of people sleep at night, even though you are working at night. Doesn't mean everybody works at night, and if you are working during the day, doesn't mean everybody work during the day. So I think it all boils down to respect.
Yeah.
Do unto others what you want them to do to you. So that's what I think. And if you see a complaint letter from HOA, don't disregard it. Don't disregard a complaint letter. That doesn't mean they are right, or that doesn't mean you are right. That is not what the letter is about. It's not about someone is right or wrong. It's about notifying you of what they've observed. You have the right to actually go there and explain, or let them know officially through written, that what they see is wrong, or what they see is right, but you are working on taking care of it. So it's not as if they are calling you home, but if you don't address a violation on time, what happened is it piled up on your record, and at the end of the day, it stays on your record. And at the end of the day, when they have multiple notifications, they started, finding it. And when you find, now the relationship has been tarnished, has become a sour relationship. It's not great anymore. And we want to maintain a great relationship with the community. So don't wait till you have the three or four fines before you actually respond. Call them up and let them know, actually, I just cut my grass. It was tall yesterday. That was because I traveled, but I came back yet last night. I just cut it this morning, and they can drive by to check it again and make sure you took care of it, and that is gone, right? But if you ignore it, like, okay, I'm just gonna cut my grass, that's still on your record. Even though you cut that grass, they still have a note that they notify you, and if they have that same complain like 2 or 3 times, they might send a fine letter to you. But if you call them up and explain what happened and you already took care of it, they can come and verify. That let them know that, okay, you are responsive. You are showing them the respect, and you are cooperating. You don't do it intentional. That is what that means. But for me, it all boils down to why you are doing things you are doing. So what I mean by that statement is, if you want to live in a safe community, then you shouldn't pick a fight with HOA, right? Because that is the purpose of HOA. They want the community to be safe, and they want the community to appreciate faster. They are there for the people of the community. So they are not people that you want to pick fight with, or you want to hate just because someone tell you about their horrible experience. It doesn't have to be horrible. It actually meant to be pleasant for everybody. So Ibrahim, I just talk about why, you know, because just like we both know, HOA are there for the safety of everybody. They are there for the community interest, but it's always opposite in most cases. Like, when people hear about HOA, they are like, no, 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 I'm not going to that community. They have HOA. They are going to take away my freedom. They are going to do this. They are going to do that. So what do you think in terms of why? Why? Because if you have the mind of buying a property in a safe location, I think you should be happy that you have HOA. So
Yeah.
that's my belief. That's my opinion. I just want to see what you think.
Yeah. So I think the general perception out there is that when there's HOA in a neighborhood, um, that person would be prevented from doing or prohibited from doing some things like, you know, choosing the kind of fence he wants, color of the house, the exterior color of the house, because of course, HOA regulates anything that is exterior that, the eye can see, you know from outside. They regulate it because they don't want situation where you paint your house all black, another person paint their house all green, another person paints their house all red and all white, so everything just look, they don't want that. They want a neutral and appealing and um decent color. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying black is bad, but when you paint your house all black and all that your neighbor is normal gray and normal builder kind of settings, your house will look different. Imagine everybody do the same, like just paint their color whatever they want. It's just gonna make the neighborhood look um unpleasant for new buyers, and the DHO is there to make sure the neighborhood is attractive and is the value is going up like normal the way it's supposed to be. So the perception, anyway, to answer your question, the perception is that okay, there's HOA. First of all, the bill. People consider the bill, which is, I mean, it's a valid point. Every
Yeah.
3 month or every 6 month, you have to pay a particular amount to the HOA. Um, Especially the expensive HOAs, like let's say if you buy condos and all that stuff. It's for me, I believe is, yeah, it can be crazy when you have to pay like $240 every month, especially in a condo and all that. So the bill is part of the problem. Then the second is the freedom to choose the exterior color, or the freedom to choose the size of fence that you really want. Some people are lucky, they'll be able to find a house that the CCR does not, regulate, or has no problem with a 12 inches privacy fence. For example, where I used to live, yeah, the outside, just I told you guys that I sold, yeah, I they don't have problem with 12-foot fence. So I was able to do privacy fence, no issue, even though it's a HOA. So no HOA prohibits you from doing the kind of fence that you like. Um, but it will be hard in um this 2023 that we are right now to find a new construction without HOA. The only thing, in fact, I would say almost like 98% of new construction will have HOA. Almost
In
98%.
Indiana?
Yes.
Okay.
The only way you can have your HOA, I mean, you can eliminate the HOA and have a new construction, is when you buy a lot. You buy a lot and you build it yourself. But when you buy a house, in most cases, it will have HOA. Now, here and there, you can find some, for example, in Canby, DR, they have a lot. They call it Traders, but the opposite, like close to the post office, the opposite side, they bought like few land, I think like 4 or 5 houses. That's the only kind of house they can build on that lot, because it's not a big lot. In that 4 houses, there's no HOA. The reason is because it's far away from the community, the real planned unit, which is the traders. The other side is just like on the main road, on the side of the road, and it's just a few land. They cannot do HOA on that kind of place because it's just too small to regulate. So HOA, they are able to do HOA when there's a lot of houses, and of course the bills. They know that these people will be able to, you know address and pay the bills, whether it's 5,000, whatever the bills is. They're able to get the money by splitting the bills every month. So sometimes HOA will decrease their price, sometimes they'll increase their price just because of that. Yeah, as long as the bill is paid and the community is okay and everything, um they keep the bills, or they increase it if they have to. Anyway, my point is that most new construction will have HOA. As long as it's a big plan unit, there will be HOA, because the builders, even the people that are buying their house, they want their property to remain, to retain its value and probably increase in value. And one of the body, or a system that will keep that thought, or that desire to come to reality, is HOA. Because if you let everybody to do whatever they want to do in a neighborhood, there's a high chance that neighborhood will go crazy in few years. You know yourself, you cannot do crazy stuff. You know this, you know that. But what about someone else? We are not the same. You know, everybody have their own, the way they want their house to look and all that, especially the exterior. um but then if you allow everybody to do that, it might, you know rather kill the property, the appearance, the attraction. It might kill the attraction of that neighborhood. So HOA has its benefit. I would like people to look at that, not just look at it from afar and say, "Oh, if it's HOA, I'm not buying." No, it depends on, if you want to use it for, like I said, investment property. Yes, you can make sure you look at their CCR. Make sure you can lease that house out. whenever you are ready. Make sure the kind of listening you want to do is allowed. Make sure this transient listening is allowed. Make sure the regular listening is allowed. Especially if you want to do short or mid-term renting, make sure transient is allowed. Because this HOA, most of them typically they do not um while they are doing their CCR, they do not consider short-term, mid-term renting. You know, some of them when they say transient, that's what they are talking about. But they, Airbnb and VRBO, they came maybe 5 years or 7 years ago. It's not like something that's been there for a long time. So my point is, some of them will not necessarily say no Airbnb, no VRBO, but sometimes you can see no transient listing or no listen. So to make sure that is it won't affect your business. If it's gonna affect it, move on to another place and buy where there is no HOA, but the neighborhood is good. So the good news is you can get a property where there's no HOA and the place is still also looking good. It just depends on people that are living there. Some people are just normal, decent, they don't cause trouble, they don't park anywhere, they live their life, simple life. So you might be lucky where you get a house where everything is simple, everything is going right, no trouble, there's no need for HOA. Yeah, you are lucky you can find that in this day. But you want to buy new construction, you want to buy a planned unit just because you want to save money and you think there will be no HOA, it's very hard these days. Um, I mean, I mean, what do you think? I mean, what do you think might be causing the people having this already set up mindset that okay, if they say HOA, I'm not going there, or it's not worth it to buy in that neighborhood. What do you think?
So you thank you, Ibrahim. You actually hit it on the head. You provided us with great response. That's a good one. So I'm going to pick one of the ones that you mentioned. Money. I think money is it's a very huge factor. A lot of people don't really see value for what they are paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big one for me. And that leads me to the second one, right? So I used to live in a community that have HOA. My community right now still have HOA. I used to live in a community that have HOA and they do nothing. You remember the example I was giving about the snow earlier?
Yeah.
That's my community. That's where I used to live. In that same community, the road is very tiny, and we have some people that bring semi truck home and park it on the street.
No.
You will be having one house having like 7 cars park on the street every night. I mean, I understand, Ibrahim, if I'm doing maybe I'm doing birthday, I'm
Oh yeah, that's
celebrating
different.
something and people come to greet me. That is different, right?
That's
But every
different.
single night, one house having 7 car, just make everything rough. Assuming everybody in the neighborhood is parking 7 car on the street. Are we're just going to look, the community is going to look like a car lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So me paying them down at some points, I started going to the meeting and calling the HOA
Sure.
irrelevant
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I don't see the value for the money that I'm paying anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's one of the big
why,
point. Big point.
yeah, so why we want to say okay, the HOA is a great thing to have in a community because it keeps the value of your property. We still want to mention that some HOA are not that great,
Yeah.
but we always want to be positive and see the best in our community. And that is why I say if you find something unpleasant, go to the meeting, right? Go to
Mm-hmm.
the meeting. They always have the notice for the meeting. It's maybe quarterly, yearly, or
Mm-hmm.
every 6 months. Go
Yeah.
there and voice your concern, right? Go there and voice your concern, because the HOA over there is cheap. What we are paying for is what we got. So that is what I realized at the end of the day, that they can't do all the things I'm asking for because there's no fund. Well, we already put to be paying the lowest amount that we can all pay. So there's no fund for them to actually. There's actually no bones on the meat. They are not making any profit from our community. So they are very uh, restricted on what they can actually do and afford. You see, so that is where the problem come from. But if it come from, if I don't go to the community meeting, I won't understand that. I will just be, negative about it and go out and tell everybody how HOA is not the right thing to have. They just always would like to take our money and all that. So you need to be involved, and by being involved, you can voice your concern
Mhm.
and be positive about it. You don't want to go there and be screaming on people, because actually you guys are coming together to make it works. It's not as if you go in there, point fingers and blame other people. So uh value for the money that people are paying, it's the reason why they are even not agreeing or not happy about paying that money. But the solution to that is go to the meeting, voice your concern.
Yeah.
What do you want them to do? What do you think they should be doing with the money they are collecting from you? Let them know. And if there's any reason that they can't do it, they will let you know. Then you
Def-
guys can sit down and reach compromise on how you can get that thing working. And if they are doing it, but it's not making any impact as you want, maybe you guys can come together and strategize how to better implement it so that it can have a positive impact that
sure.
everybody wants in the community. So those are the things that is what I mean when I say be positive about it. Don't just say HOA is a bad thing. uh, the experience that you have is
Yeah.
doesn't make it a bad thing. You just need to go in there, let it out, and hear, be open-minded, hear what they have to say, and
Yeah.
maybe you guys sit down and create a solution for it.
Sure.
So that's the two things that I will mention: the money. And the reason why people are very mad at the money is because they feel like they are not getting the value for the money that they are paying.
Yeah.
So that would be the big two thing for me. Before I pass it back, Ibrahim, I'm about to ask you the the final close up comment, but I want to let our audience know that we are doing this live just because we want to be interactive with everybody, all our audience. We want to be able to answer your questions. We want to be able to provide live comments and possibly, bring you up on the screen and read your comments out so that we answer it live and all that. So if you don't mind, please drop your comments in the chat box wherever you are watching us from. Either YouTube, Facebook, all the platform out there that we are streaming on. Drop your comments, and anything real estate, really. Don't say, oh, they are discussing HOA today. I cannot ask about loan. I cannot ask about financing. I cannot ask about, purchasing a investment property. You can always ask us anything real estate on this podcast, and we will be open to address the question. So
Yeah.
Ibrahim, so far there's no comments, there's no questions.
Yeah.
Any final word before we drop off today?
Final what would be you've said it already. If you are so concerned about HOA before you buy the house, even if it's a new construction, there's always a CCR for that neighborhood. The builder are aware that people, some people don't want they would like to know the rules, the covenant, and the restriction before buying the house. So they always get that CCR ready, you know, for the kind of houses they want to sell in, in the lot. They have that ready already. So try to read through it and see, or you might as well just ask your realtor, ask the sales specialist, ask them, are they is the HOA, does the HOA prohibit so length of fence? If you want a privacy fence, okay, that which is considered 8 to 12 foot, okay, can they let you do that? If the HOA is, if it's against their rules, then you see if you can compromise on that, or you want to move, you know to somewhere else. You don't have to buy that house if you know it's a big deal for you. Now, about the payment, okay, from the beginning as well, you will know what the payment should will look like. Your HOA bill. So if you don't support that, then move to another place. Okay, if it works for you, move forward and buy the property. At the end of the day, we don't want HOA to prevent you from buying your property, in the sense that because you don't support, you want a shed, and it says, the HO is saying there's no shed, you cannot use shed in that area. That alone shouldn't make you you know um abandon your desire to own a home. You can walk away, go to another area and buy. Do not let that stop you from achieving your dream of becoming a homeowner. I mean, that's my point tonight. So
Yeah, thank you, Ibrahim.
thank you.
I just want our audience to know that we are doing this with open hearts,
Hmm.
and we are devoting hours of our weeks to this. The
Yeah.
only thing we are asking is please and please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified immediately we start this show every Friday. And that way, that help us to reach more people.
Yeah.
That help us to reach more people. So anywhere you come across our maybe 1 minute video or anything, make sure you like,
Yeah.
comment, show us some love. That way we can reach more people. The algorithm push it up. We know everything social media works with algorithm,
Yeah.
and the more likes, comments we have, the more people that we see our content. Please, this is a free content. This is what other people pay thousands of money, to go learn. So always show us some love and thank you as you do. I don't really have any closing comment.
Okay.
Just remember that you cannot be waiting for the right time or timing the market to buy real estate.
Yeah.
You can never do. You can always, the only thing you can control is the deal you are buying, making sure it's the right fit for you.
Yes.
And the best time to plant tree is 20 years ago. And the second best time is today. The more you wait, the more you will end up with nothing. So
Yeah.
today is the day. Today is the right time.
It's the right time.
Strategize, yeah, strategize your financial um savings,
Yeah.
and take a step every day towards the goal of investing in real estate.
Yes.
This is where 99% of millionaires make their first million.
Yes.
Real estate, real estate, real estate. So, Ibrahim, if people want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Yes, they can, call my number, or just my number is 317-728-0213, or go to Instagram, IB Realtors, just DM me, and I'll be more than happy to help. Anything concerning real estate, you can be rest assured I will, do my best on that. Um, I want to
Okay.
say something real quick. So please do not wait to buy real estate. You have to buy real estate and wait. If you are waiting for crash or anything to happen, it's not gonna happen. A lot of investors, experts in real estate, have analyzed the market, and what's gonna happen? The government will lower the interest rate, and the market will go back to boom. That's what's going to happen because a lot of people are waiting. You are not the only one. So don't time the market. Buy real estate and wait. Do not wait to buy real estate. Ahmed, how can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How can they reach out to you?
You can reach me on Instagram, official Hamed Lawal. DM me anything real estate, really anything. Find you the resources you need, answer your question, and help you take the first step actually. And if you have any capital sitting anywhere and you want to invest it, we can work together as well, find you the deal and walk you through the steps and getting you, the investment property that you've been, longing for. So, uh, having said that, that should be the show today. We don't have any
Yeah.
question, guys. Thank you for joining. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Like I
you.
mentioned earlier, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and whenever you see us on your screen, like, share, comment, so that that will boost our algorithm and we can reach more people. All right, that will be the end of the show. Thank you, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Whew. I'm just waiting for this thing to upload. I'm going to eat.